unfortunately, we have to continue to deal with the situation, but in the future, we need to learn the lesson and really manage these situations in a different way. The Kenyan government agrees. We're all together trying to make efforts to do it right in other situations at least. Thank you very much for listening. If there is a few questions, I think we can take.
Thank you, High Commissioner. We have time for 3 questions only. Please state your name, the name of your organization, and your question. Ladies first.
Oh, hi, my name is Marie Claire.
She's number 2.
There's several.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Marie Claire for CBTN Africa. So I have 2 questions.
No, only one. Choose.
One question.
Not a double one.
One.
Okay, fine. What are the major challenges hindering expected assistance to refugees in Africa?
Resources. Resources, resources. You know, it is very difficult to fund programs in Africa. I am not ashamed to say it. I fight all the time. Ask my director for Africa who's here. We fight all the time, but Africa hosts, unfortunately, many refugee situations, many conflicts and many refugee situations. It is the most difficult to find resources for Africa, and I want to also use this opportunity to remind countries that they should not forget that, donor countries, both in terms of resources, humanitarian resources, development resources for the long term, education, jobs, and so forth, and resettlement places for the most vulnerable. And I have recently, for example, appealed for 40,000 new resettlement places for countries in Africa, and I have received some feedback, maybe 13,000. We need much more than this. So mine is a very strong appeal, and thank you for your question. The lady over there.
Good afternoon, my name is Leila Mohammed from NTV Kenya.
Louder, please.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
My name is Leila Mohammed from NTV Kenya. Now we have conflicts that have arisen in the last 2 years. We have conflicts in Bangladesh where they are hosting so many people.
In Myanmar. Yeah.
Myanmar.
Not
they
in
have
Bangladesh.
refugees from Myanmar. We also have in Uganda from South Sudan and other places. Considering the high numbers of refugees that you're seeing now, where is the place of Dadaab and why is it still important for UNHCR?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. The problem is when you have an old refugee situation like Dadaab, old means 25 years, 30 years, and you have new crisis, all the attention will go to the new crisis. And I am telling donors in particular, when you go to you have to go to a new crisis and help us, of course, otherwise people die. But that is not a justification to diminish assistance to the old crisis, if you see what I mean. Because the crisis here depends on the conflict in Somalia, which is not yet completely resolved. The situation has improved, I think. The government has good plans. As I told you, I was in Mogadishu 2 days ago, and there is hope, in my opinion. But we cannot expect everybody to go back. It will be gradual. And people have to make decisions based on their knowledge of security, of the available structures and so forth. So this situation, this is the most difficult time when there is the beginning of a solution, so don't say, okay, now everybody. No, we should be patient. We should accompany the people and give them the time to make those decisions. That's my appeal. Maybe an end now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ferdinand Mondi from the BBC. So you have a situation where the Kenya government wants the camp closed. Some people don't want to go back and you're struggling for funds. In this kind of environment, how much longer can the UN hold on to sustain the job?
As long as I am patient and tell my colleagues to hold on, we will hold on. Don't worry about that. The problem, but you said something very important. This is a very difficult situation in which everything seems to be conspiring against us. You know, maybe I can give you many details. One of the agreements with the government was that some people, especially non-Somalis, would be progressively transferred to Kakuma. Now Kakuma is completely overwhelmed because the crisis in South Sudan is increasing, so more refugees are coming. So all this situation, and the resettlement was another solution for many, and we had the US decrease. So it almost seems like one of those games that are where you have all the difficulties. Unfortunately, it is not a game. It is a reality in which people's lives are at stake. So really, you know, I am appealing very strongly to those countries that can help us now. We will continue to be here, there's no question about that, but we need that support. Please.
Thank you, Mr. High Commissioner. Maggie from Reuters. In Kismayo yesterday, what did you see by way of services like hospitals, schools? What greets the returnees when they there?
She's asking me about Kismayo. We visited a very interesting, what can I call it, settlement that is being built near the city, because many people go back to Kismayo after 25 years. They don't have anymore a house. So we are working with the local government to provide them with some simple accommodation. The reality is that it takes time to do it for many, many people. Not everybody needs that. Many people go back to their houses. And this accommodation is not just a house, it's this structure. It's also a school. We visited a school. There is going to be a health center. So we're trying to help in every possible way. In areas where people can go back to a neighborhood, so you don't need to build a new house, then I think it is important, it will be important to rebuild the schools and the health facilities. The most important for the people going back is education, everybody will tell you that, and health, and of course job opportunities. Now that's why we give some cash to people, so that, and many of them are using that cash to start some economic work. We were told that in the market, in the souk of Kismayo, there is quite a lot of activity also because there is an injection of cash coming from the returnees. That's positive, I think, but it is still small. So if this becomes bigger, we will be a challenge if we don't have enough resources. But for the time being, we're on track. But like I said, I don't want anybody to think that when I describe this positive situation, I'm saying everything is like this. No, Somalia is a very mixed situation. Some parts are still under the Shabab and are in insecurity, so it's not safe to go everywhere.
I have a question.
One more.
My name is Caroline from KTN. I'm interested to know what is the way forward for these refugees who go back but return, because we are seeing more of a trend where, you know, you go back, once you're not comfortable, you come back. What is the way
Our
forward?
statistics say that the number of people that have gone back, I think this year is about 32,000, 2017, 32,000. It's not a huge number, but anyway, 32,000 have gone back, 400 are the ones that we know of that have come back. So it's about 1%, 1.5%. It's a small number, but we should not take it lightly. You know, these people, if they come back, it means that there is a problem, and we need to make sure that they can be reinserted in the assistance. But it is complicated, you understand, because when they go, they have to give up their refugee card, obviously. That's normal. So how do we consider them when they go back? We're discussing. I just spoke to the elders and I told them that at least we will make sure that they have the basic assistance to begin with, and then we will see what we can do from the legal point of view, which is a bit more complicated. We need to discuss this with the government. It's their decision, not our decision. But like I said, we should not over-dramatize. This is not a very big phenomenon yet. There are, however, some people, new arrivals. These are not people returning back to Dadaab, people that were never here before. They also, you know, is a bit complex, but we need not to forget about them either. So I'll conclude here just to reassure all of you. Well, reassure, I don't know. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is a big challenge. I feel that with the government of Kenya, with the local authorities, with the help of my special envoy, Ambassador Afe, that many of you will know from his work in Kenya. He's now my special envoy in the region. We will continue to speak about Somali refugees, the need to extend protection to them when they are in host countries, and to help them return when they choose to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, High Commissioner. Thank you so much. Press, if we could all just remain here, because the communications